Welcome back to the channel, guys. It has been a good minute since I've uploaded here on the channel, and I will explain that in just a second. But for today's video, we're going to be going over my thoughts on update 1.2 now that it is finally here. And although it is a little bit of a smaller update, there is actually quite a bit to go over as well. So we're going to get stuck into that. I will leave some timestamps down below to just skip ahead. But for those who are wondering where I've been for the last few weeks, it's been, I think, just over 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks now since I've actually uploaded, which for me is a massive break on YouTube. I pretty much never ever take breaks on YouTube. Been doing this for I think 4 years now, and I've actually only had one period in that 4 years where I didn't upload at all. And so for me, it actually feels like I haven't made a video in months and months because it's been so long since I've actually had a break. So I thought I'd better just explain to you guys where I've been. So life for the last few months has been absolutely chaotic, and I kind of have just been powering through that for the most part. I thought I was going to get through scot-free, and then I actually managed to get COVID during that time. I've been lucky enough to avoid COVID ever since it started, and kind of thought for a minute there I was going to get away without ever getting it. But no, I did finally get COVID, and it hasn't been too bad. I'm actually feeling a lot better now. You can probably tell a little bit in my voice that I've still slightly got it. I've still got a bit of a runny nose and stuff like that, but I'm feeling good. But I pretty much just said, you know what? Life's been crazy. I'm sick now. I'm just going to take a couple of weeks off, which is something that I never do. I can often be a bit of a workaholic, unfortunately, and so as soon as I got COVID, I thought, you know what, I'm going to take some time off and just essentially sit back and do absolutely nothing for a few weeks. So weirdly enough, even though I've been sick, it's actually been a nice little sort of refresh. Managed to get some time away from working. I haven't done any work at all in like 2 weeks now, so weirdly enough, I actually see that as a bit of a positive. And anyway, now I am feeling excited to get back into the swing of things, and obviously it's been the perfect time to get back into it since update 1.2 has just dropped. So like I said, I thought I would just explain a little bit about where I have been, but moving forward we should be back into the regular schedule. So without wasting any more time, let's get stuck into my overall thoughts on update 1.2 for Battlefield 2042. So like I said, the update itself kind of seems a little bit small in a way, but there are actually a lot of different things that were in this update. I think it feels small because none of them were really like massive things, but there are just a bunch of sort of smaller things that do all add up to being a pretty decent size update overall. Now, I think the main thing that they've sort of like marketed with this update is obviously the changes to Kaleidoscope. Now, unfortunately for me, I actually haven't had a chance to play Kaleidoscope properly. I have played it in solo just against bots just to sort of see what it's like, but I haven't actually played a proper match and sort of seen how it plays out. So I can't really touch on that too much as of right now. Unfortunately, that is an issue, and I'll kind of touch on this later on, but the lack of a server browser and obviously just the lack of them changing the rotations of the game modes as often as they should be, it does make it pretty hard to actually find lobbies that we sort of need to get. So for example, even exposure, I'm actually struggling to even find games of exposure at the moment, just simply because it's not the main game mode. And so anyway, that is an issue, but I'll touch on that a little bit later on. But in terms of just playing it solo, the changes seem, you know, decent enough. We've already seen a few videos that they've shared a few months back and then more recently as well. And so none of it's really a surprise at all, just kind of felt how it looked in those videos. And although, like I said, I haven't actually played it in multiplayer yet, I'm kind of worried that it's not going to be drastically different. It's still going to be pretty much the same map, it's just slightly different. As far as I'm concerned, Kaleidoscope just isn't the best map in Battlefield, so sure, they can change it, and I'm sure it's going to be better than it was, but I still don't think it's going to, you know, turn this into like the next best map behind Exposure, for example. So it is a little bit hard to judge without having played multiplayer on it just yet, but at the end of the day, it definitely looks like it is improved compared to the base version. Now, something else that they finally added is the stats and the profile page. That is something that, weirdly enough, we kind of haven't actually really been asking for, but it is nice to actually get that. It's something that you kind of just expect to be in essentially any multiplayer game that you play, but it obviously wasn't in this game. Now, they have had the stats on tracker.gg for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months now, so none of this is really new to me. I've already kind of known all my stats, so maybe that makes it seem a little bit more like underwhelming to me, but personally, I do think that the stats page is just a little bit underwhelming, just in terms of like, it's a little bit basic the way it's laid out and everything. There's a lot of information there, but it's just like literally you just scroll from top to bottom. There's no like categories to sort of check through. It's just all, yeah, on one page. So definitely not going to complain. It is good that it's in the game, and I think it's better to have it in the game than not have it in the game. So it's definitely a good addition, but I will just say I'm not going to give them like a 10 out of 10 for the update because they've added the stats. It's pretty basic. It's pretty basic stuff that should be in any shooter really. So a good addition, but one that I'm not going to praise them too much for. Now, they have also made some changes to the specialist tone, to where they've essentially just changed the look of a few specialists in the game. And I will say up close, they do look a lot more suited to this, you know, the setting of the game, but at the same time, it's really just a bit of dirt on their face. And you know, some of them have like I think McKay has a beard now, for example. Like they're good changes, but they're not that noticeable in game. When I'm playing, I'm not looking at McKay on the other team and going, oh wow, he looks so much more more immersive now. If I see McKay on the other team, I'm just going to shoot McKay. It doesn't really bother me that much. So kind of the same sort of thing as the stats page. Like, it's a good change. I'm not going to complain about it, but it's not, you know, it's not some drastic improvement to the game or anything like that. And as of what I've seen so far, I haven't really noticed any changes to like the voice lines and stuff. I think they've just essentially muted them more than, you know, I don't think they've got the voice actors back in to record new lines or anything. I think they've just kind of removed a lot of the cringy lines and stuff. So that definitely is a really good change, but that was also in place in, I think, update 1.0 or 1.1. So not too sure that's actually been changed drastically in this update itself. Now, another really sort of important topic for this update was the aim assist changes, and what I'll say is I personally didn't actually notice a single difference to the aim assist. I guess in a way that's a good thing because they haven't made it worse by trying to, you know, they haven't over buffed the aim assist to where it's like completely overpowered or something like that. So I guess I would actually consider that a positive, that I can't notice the difference. To me personally, I've never thought the aim assist is absolutely terrible in this game. Having played a lot of Warzone in the last like 2 years, Warzone's aim assist is like really strong, and so I think a lot of people probably have played games like that and they've got strong aim assist. I know Halo had really strong aim assist as well, and then coming to Battlefield it is definitely a little bit weaker, so I think a lot of people sort of think that it's, you know, it's really poor, but for me personally it feels fine. It's not like I'm missing shots more than any other game. I'm not the best aim as it is, so for me personally I've never really noticed it. Definitely when the game launched it was a little bit weak, but I think they made some early changes that did get it to a lot, you know, a much better place sort of earlier on in the game. And so yeah, for me personally in this update I haven't really noticed a difference so far, but I think I would actually personally say that's a good thing rather than a bad thing, because you can go too far with the aim assist and it can get to the point where console players are going to end up being overpowered. And I'm saying this as a console player, like I'm not some salty PC player that's going to complain about aim assist being too strong or anything like that, because if anything it benefits me more, but I do think you can make it a bit too strong, and yeah, it feels fine to me. So I'm definitely keen to hear what you guys think of that, because obviously that's just my opinion. So definitely let me know what you guys think of the aim assist down in the comment section, but yeah, for me personally I haven't really noticed any changes to it at all. Now, there were also a few weapons that were nerfed. There was probably like 5 or 6 that got small nerfs, but the BSVM and the K30, they both actually got some pretty drastic nerfs, I would say. Now, the BSVM still feels really good. I've actually got some gameplay that I guess I'll be using in the background of this video, to be honest, and it definitely was noticeably like less accurate when it's on fully auto mode. If you're using like the extended barrel and the high power rounds, to where normally that was a bit of a laser at long range, it definitely, you could kind of tell that if you're on full auto mode it was a little bit less accurate, but it still feels pretty decent. It didn't feel like completely over nerfed or anything like that. And then as for the K30, I haven't used the K30 in multiplayer just yet, so I'm not too sure on that, but I actually was using that when I played solo on Kaleidoscope, and it doesn't feel like drastically nerfed into the ground or anything like that. Most of the changes were just to like its range, which is a good thing, because I think it's decent up close. It's like meant to be very dominant up close, obviously because of the rate of fire, but then it has been pretty, you know, ridiculous at that sort of mid-range, and so I think some nerfs to the range are definitely on the more positive side of things. And if it does become, you know, genuinely weak at that mid to long range, that's probably a good thing, because that's not really what that gun is meant to be used for. So I definitely noticed those nerfs, but I don't think that they're, you know, they've over nerfed them or anything like that, and so I think those are definitely some good changes. Overall for the update, I do think that it was a decent update. What I will say is it feels a little bit like underwhelming. That's really the only issue that I have with this update. Nothing they added or changed is bad per se, but it also just felt like there wasn't that much to it. I know we are getting season 2 in essentially like a month or even less than a month now, so I guess we will have some hype, you know, in the next month or so, but for this update it does just feel, yeah, a little bit underwhelming. I'm not overly excited to play. It wasn't an update that sort of brought me back. Season 1, obviously the launch of Season 1, that was a really exciting update, and then even update 1.1, it really did improve the feeling of the game. They improved the movement and all that kind of thing. So when I jumped on and played that update, it felt a lot smoother, and it actually, you know, it made me want to play, whereas this update personally, it doesn't really grab me and make me like super excited. Now maybe that's, like I said, maybe it's just because I've been sick and I'm just tired and grumpy, I'm not really sure, but I will just say, yeah, the update feels a little bit underwhelming, yet I also can't really complain because everything they have changed in this update, it does feel like it is improving the game. So at least we are in a decent spot now, and you know, hopefully heading into Season 2, they have confirmed there's going to be another new map. I'm assuming we're going to get a new specialist, and I'd imagine another 2 weapons as well, a new battle pass, and hopefully we do get a bit more content in there. Unlike Season 1, obviously we've kind of just got the base content for Season 1, and then that's really been it. Hopefully in Season 2 we do get like some mid-season content, even if that's just like a new portal map or something like that. And so I think with that content, sort of on the horizon. This update is still decent just because it's got us in a good spot. It hasn't made anything worse. We're not like scrambling heading into season 2 thinking, oh no, we need to fix this and this before we can, you know, play the new content or anything like that. So although the update is a little bit underwhelming, I'm not too worried about that just because we do finally have a bit more stuff on the horizon again with season 2. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. Like I said, with the aim assist stuff, definitely let me know your thoughts on all of that down below, not just the aim assist but just the update in general. Obviously, having not uploaded in a few weeks, it does feel like I'm sort of missed out on, you know, the last few weeks of chatter between the community. So definitely let me know your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section, as I'm keen to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button, and if you guys want to support the content that I make here on YouTube, then consider becoming a channel member. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.